I think I'm ready to go.
I learned what one of the buttons on my steering wheel is supposed to do, and I'm still not sure what it does 100%.
Well, hang on. And now it's time for another episode of Drake and the Maestro.
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Oh, yes, almost relevant. What's
Almost.
with the relevance?
So you've got a mystery button on your steering wheel, huh?
I do.
Is it like on the have you got like a really big remote with like a muffin and a swastika?
No, it's not. It's not a family vacation steering wheel, thankfully.
Hilarious though.
It is. It's in with all the cruise control buttons, and that should have given me a clue as to what it was for. It's just a speedometer with two lines next to it. And I was trying to figure out, what does this button do? Like, I push it, nothing happens. It's apparently for the engine brake. When you're going downhill, you can set. It allows you to set what speed. It's the descent control button.
So what speeds it engages and disengages?
No, it like helps you hold going down a grade, so you don't overspeed your truck and burn up your brakes and
Crash and
right. End
That's
up having
a neat feature.
spend serve a court sentence in Denver because you burned up your brakes going down 70.
If you survive. Yeah, and I hear that there's like roving gangs out there in Denver at the truck stops. They're
There's always something.
Charging drivers to spend the night $50 or
It's
basically
called pilot.
It's an additional. It's for protection.
Oh, that could just be that that TA at the beginning of September went to all paid parking at all their truck stops. So
yeah, well, you never know. So I've been out getting the deer stand ready.
Yeah,
because it's hard to find a deer stand that'll accommodate a wheelchair. So it's a deer blind.
Deer stand, deer blind, it's deer something.
What's the difference? About 15 feet. Yeah.
Deer John. No, wait.
So I was out. Yep, without working on the deer stand, and I can tell you that carpentry from a wheelchair scooter ain't the same. Oh my goodness!
You don't say.
At least I figured out I was halfway into my project, and I figured out that if I fold up the footrest, I can get closer to my work envelope.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Wild.
and why is it that every viscous substance that you use, like anises or anything that is a consistency, kind of like honey, is going to just everywhere? Where does it all come from?
Oh,
I don't think I have as much PL. By the way, listeners, I use Structure for Construction or use PL Premium Loctite forever, and it's nasty once it's together.
If you want to stick something to something else and basically have it never come apart.
Right. Yeah. I've had the wood break apart before the PL comes apart.
Yeah. We've had to, on more than one occasion, cut a project apart because we couldn't get it to separate.
Yeah. So you better be sure the first time, because
you better get it right the first time, because there isn't a second time.
I'm in old man fog at doing this, and so I'm trying to. Well, we assembled the pallet basically, and we built a pallet.
Yeah, we built the sled
on skids. It's a sled. It's a pallet with a sled bottom. So it'll skid along.
It's a sled. It's not a pallet. It's not a pallet with a sled bottom. We built a sled.
Okay.
That sled just happens to be better built than the average sled, is the thing.
And better built than the average pallet.
Well, I've seen pallets that are held together by nothing but air. So,
So there you go. But yeah, I think it's a good platform because it can be skidded along the ground. It can be lifted by a telehandler if you so happen to have a telehandler. You can slide it up on my tilt bed trailer and then put that behind some sort of all-terrain four-wheel drive thingy and tow it out to where we're going to be hunting, whatever. But I really am surprised. I was moving it today. Boy, that rascal's heavy. It's only going to get heavier. It's only, yeah. And at least I was planning a little bit because I put up the walls. I got one wall up today, right?
Oh.
But getting that wall constructed from a wheelchair, wow, what a treat. You would lay down your 2x4s and kind of get everything cut, lay it together on the ground, right? And then glue and screw it all together and frame it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good luck doing that when you can barely reach your ankles, right?
Well, that's true of most contractors who can barely reach their ankles.
Well, I'll tell you what. Try it from a wheelchair and see how it goes for you. You know, I had to read.
I prefer to do all my work from chairs with wheels on them.
I know, but I framed quite a few things, and this is the first time I did it.
Quite a few things.
I'm in, and well, right, but found not guilty, so it goes. That's okay. Oh, and speaking, I don't know why it came into my mind. I want to thank all the new listeners, subscribers from the military who have subscribed and listened. So thanks.
Oh,
thanks for that. Yeah. Blows me away every time I see the analytics and there's more people subscribed and listening. Like, who are these people?
Okay, Seinfeld, calm down.
But it just blows me away. I'm really, really grateful that all you people out there listening. It's just amazing to me that this nonsense has some value.
It's got something. I don't know about value, but it's got something.
It's something, right? It's something to listen to while you're playing your Xbox, maybe. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, it's just noise in the background.
I wouldn't know about that, but I've heard things. So,
what are these things?
So I'm putting all this stuff together, and I'm having a kind of a old man CRS moment. CRS, of course, for those of you who are uninitiated, means can't remember Shinola, or another word like it. And it was, I picked it up from On Patrol Live. This Nevada is, I don't know if I want to live there, but man, is it great fodder for live police shows or even recorded police shows, because
great.
The people out there
in Arizona,
they're
crazy.
So we're back to trying to put this framing. So I've measured 13 ways, different ways, and I've worked it out. I'm going to put all the walls together and worked out the roof angle, and I'm cutting the boards, the 2x4s, which are leftovers from building the slope on the front of the house. Right?
Ah, yes.
These are all the leftovers. So they've been twisting and gnarling in storage.
Yes, they're nice and twisted and they're like a dog's hind leg, perfect for building a wall.
Yeah. And I'm just sighting them down, trying to figure out what section of this can I use for my upright, for my wall. None of it actually.
Well, actually,
and then I started thinking,
now that you mention it,
yeah. Well, I think the only hope I've got here is to cut the braces to the correct dimensions and just force the structure together and let the glue dry, let the PL dry, and then
you're gonna build it like I used to build stuff at Menards, just force it together until it stays that way.
Yeah. So I cut the pieces out for the one wall. And I screw it together, and of course the first joint is always the most difficult, and that kind of sets the tone for the rest of it. And I'm pretty proud of it. Pretty proud of how I got it all together, kind of a square joint and even. And then I realized I had screwed the bottom plate to the jack stud instead of the jack stud to the bottom plate.
Nice going.
Yeah. Take it apart. At least the glue hasn't set yet. So once I got that right way round, got the other side and put it all together and got it onto the frame, and then stood back.
This is why we can't have anything nice.
Well, this is doomed. This enclosure, this deer blind, is doomed to be what it's going to be, because I realized between the wood and my ability to really get down there and assemble stuff being limited, it's going to be, let's just say, good enough for who it's for, and sitting out in the woods covered in brush is probably going to be just fine.
It's good enough for who it's for. It's for you. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly. It's good enough for who it's for. If it keeps if it keeps me out of view of the deers and maybe get some weather off of me, that's all I really need. I'll put my office chair in there and my stand and my rest, and I'll be ready to go. In the meantime, I look at my roof angle now that I actually see it on the wall, because I cut the tops to the right, to the 21.8 degree angle that the roof is going to sit at, and realized when I put the back wall on, which is the tall wall, the wall that has the door, ain't going to fit out the door in my shop.
Oh, nice going.
It's not tall enough. Good thing I didn't put it all together yet.
Does that mean you have
Took
to
a
put
break.
the roof on? Does that mean you
Right.
have to put the roof on outside?
Outside and the back wall. The tall wall and the roof have to go on with the thing outside.
Nice.
Yeah, perfect, right?
Yeah, that sounds like you.
It does. Hey, at least they get it all built and then realize, oh, crap. I can't get it out the door.
Yeah. I saw a Reddit post about something similar to that where someone had built their Jeep, like lifted their Jeep in their garage, then
Yeah.
went to get it out and then realized they couldn't because it was taller than their garage door.
Ruh-roh.
So maybe that's something you should verify if you're going to do, at home repairs
Correct.
to your vehicle
Yeah.
or modifications. Maybe you should make sure that you can get it out of the building it's in before you do that. Or if
Yeah,
you
there was
are,
a guy,
if
guy in Europe
you-
who was rebuilding some kind of special car in his garage, in his kitchen. Was it a car?
yeah,
Was it a car?
It was a car. It was a
Yeah,
car.
and then they just had to knock the wall open to get the thing
Yeah,
out.
they took the car. They knocked the wall down. They took his bay door, like his sliding glass door, out to get the car
Right.
out.
Right.
It was some Jaguar or something.
Yeah. It was some kind of rare thing, right? I mean, I don't
Yeah, rare to
blame the
them.
guy. Was there a wife involved? Because I bet there wasn't afterwards.
No, there definitely wasn't, because no wife would ever let a man build a car in their kitchen.
Mm-hmm. So I also realized another thing, right?
Uh-oh.
Not only am I going to have to put the back wall on and finish it outside, which is really not that big a deal because I was using all treated wood. So what's the difference? And
Yeah,
it's
it could
all
be outside,
seasoned.
whatever.
It's seasoned. So whatever. It can be outside. It might be more pleasant outside anyway.
Maybe.
But
Especially
after
coming up
looking
here with
at
it
it-
being fall.
I'm looking at it, and you military guys are going to know. I realized one thing, and it wasn't even it was unconscious. I'm building a CB shed.
You mean subconscious?
Right. That thing. What
If you were
said.
building it unconscious, you weren't. Well, we all know how that will turn
I think
out.
I was building it unconscious for little bits and
Oh,
pieces.
well, clearly you
Yeah. No,
building it
I-
where it wouldn't fit out your door.
Well, things just materialized. Like, where did that come from? You built it. I did. Okay.
Well, the guy that used to own the house used to be a CB, so it only makes sense that you'd be building
Yeah.
a CB shack.
Well, yeah. So it's a CB shack. Yeah. I just like, I just realized that's what I'm building. Looks just like it. Built
Acts
about to the
just
same
like
quality
it.
and specs too. So I wonder if people driving by our the sacred hunting grounds see the thing out there and they go, who put a CB shed out there? Yeah, we'll see.
They'd have to know what that is first.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, apparently I didn't until just a moment ago.
No,
and I
you just
realized
didn't make
it,
the connection.
I didn't make the connection, yeah. So that was a slap to the forehead moment. One of many today.
Folks, this is why you shouldn't record a podcast and also be out of your mind.
No, it's why you should.
Or maybe it's why you should. Maybe you
It's
got a point there. I don't
entertainment. Yeah,
know. Is it?
Whether, yeah, well, I don't know. Some people seem to think so.
Is it? Our subscriber count would say it's something.
Well, it's fun for some, like that old lottery ad. It's fun for some. Yeah. So
It's definitely something.
I have an update
Oh, okay.
to the coffee saga.
Ah.
Yes, I did. I went back and I tried for coffee. Decaf,
So this
of
is
course.
attempt number 3.
I don't know what attempt it is, but it's another one of many. To take my mom out for her doctor visit, and that was that was kind of an interesting experience too. We went okay. First of all, on the way there, there's a thing that goes on in the country on the country
backwards.
roads. Yeah, I am. There's a thing that goes on the country roads that I don't think you'll see in the city because people
Did they
won't
take you
survive
home?
I don't know.
What,
John Denver
are
didn't
you
show
in
up.
West Virginia?
Mountain, Mountain Mama. Knock it off.
Yeah. No.
People do it in the country, and it's a kind of I think it's a bad habit because I almost wiped some guy out doing it to me, and I don't think you see it in the city because the people doing it would be dead. Okay,
Maybe.
it's this habit
thing
of
would be-
I'm going to make a left-hand turn, so I'm going to go to the lane for oncoming traffic.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
it's two-lane country road, right? So they go to the oncoming lane and then start slowing down for the turn.
Yeah, to try to clear the lane
this
of
is-
travel behind
Yeah,
them.
now this is dangerous on several counts because you're slowing down, which means if something comes up like in your grill, because you're in the oncoming lane, right? So I've seen people do it at the base of a blind hill or blind
I see
curve.
people do it all the time.
Yeah, right? So you're now slowing down. So now traffic in your escape lane is now blocking off your escape route. You have nothing. All you can do is sit there and take the hit.
And hope. And sit there and hope.
Right. So
Sit and spin.
I'm going to make a right-hand turn from one country road to country road. And here is a pickup truck coming straight at me in the oncoming lane, and he's making a left-hand turn. So we're basically both turning to the same direction.
Right.
Now, normally in a normal four-way stop, and this wasn't a stop. This is just one of them country blinky lights. And like, everybody be careful, light that no
Hey,
one
look,
plays
there's an
attention.
intersection here.
Right. Normally, the car making the more unusual move would have to yield, which would be your left-hand turn would yield to your right-hand turn.
Yes. Usually.
Okay? Usually. According to the Emily Post Rules of Driver Etiquette, and some secretaries of state in their handbook would tell you that would be the case. However, there is no way that driver can yield to me making the turn safely because he's in a. It's just a bad.
Yes. He's in a
deal.
bad spot. He's created a more unsafe scenario than if he hadn't done what he did. But people do that because what happens is they go to stop and then someone from behind them goes, I don't want to wait for this, and cuts them off, cuts out like 3 cars back. Yeah. Why are we stopping? And then cuts out from like 3 cars back and comes zooming down and they get T-boned.
Right. Or they get rear-ended. Or unfortunately for my sister, someone pulled out at the same intersection I'm just talking about and just pulls out in front of her and thinks that she's turning, but she's not. And kaboom. Right? Vehicles totaled. All that. Neck injuries. Blind in one eye. Oh my gosh. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Okay, then.
But I've seen this multiple times on the way to the doctor visit. And none of it good because I'm overtaking the vehicle. They pull off. They slow down on the left. And all of a sudden here comes oncoming traffic. And it's like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And the person has to like zip up and then get onto the shoulder or onto the road quickly that they were turning onto faster than they wanted to begin with.
Yes.
I don't know. It's a bad deal. All I can tell you, it's a bad deal. And I had one guy passing me like that to slow down. He actually was passing me and then decided to slow down and make the left-hand turn. But you know why he was passing me? Because I was slowing down with my left-hand turn signal on. I was going to turn same road this guy was going to turn to.
So he's a real man of genius.
Yeah, so you'd be proud of me. I ran him into the ditch because I've had it. I've had it.
Because I've wanted to do that multiple times.
Yeah, so I did it for you. Anybody asks, I'll just say, I did it for the maestro. And then they'll say.
And they'll be like, what? And then they'll be like, are you on any drugs?
Yeah, then I'll be talking to men in white coats for sure. But you know what? It won't be the first time.
Yeah, it definitely won't be the last either.
So, I picked up Mom, and it's convenient for me to do this because I got the wheelchair van. Mom's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And we go to, this isn't necessarily funny or amusing well, it's kind of amusing. It's interesting to me, right? We go to the doctor. Okay. We go to the doctor's office. It's kind of one of those interurban style doctor's offices where at one point there was probably parking on the street, in front of the doctor's office. And it's like this laser center and all that. But you can tell it's like built in the 50s or 60s, remodeled in the 80s, right, inside. But now, because of all the traffic coming through the city, they've made, they've taken that parking lane and turned it into a travel lane. And it's like 1 3/4 lanes, both directions, right? Either direction.
Yeah.
Right? It's not quite a real lane. It's a suggestion of a lane that you might possibly use if maybe you could squeeze through. And if someone wasn't facing right at you trying to turn left in front of you, then you might be able to use it as a lane. But you better watch yourself.
I've been on some country roads that they're 2 lanes, maybe.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda. Especially South Carolina is great for those when you get off some of the main roads.
Not even South Carolina, Indiana, Illinois.
Well, I think with South Carolina, there's more of a drop off when the 3/4 of a lane ends. Right here in Indiana, it's a little flatter, a little bit. You got southern Indiana towards Kentucky, not so much, but It's a little flatter.
Well, or
It's out-
northern Indiana, where you're a lot of the farmland, where there's those big drainage ditches and there's no shoulder.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Right.
It's just white line, or
It's you
yellow
in the
line,
ditch.
white line.
It's you in the ditch, baby. At least they don't cut them. At least they don't cut the grass flat and even with the bat wing like they do in Illinois. So you think, oh, that's nice little flat ground over there. I'll pull off. Next thing you know, you're buried up to the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those cars in our day down by where we live.
So I'm going to this clinic, and it's
Going to the
you
clinic.
got to pull on back to the alley because all the parking's in the alley. And the alley's
Well,
all
of course.
gravel, right? And it's maintained. It's not like it's run down, but it's an older building, right? And gosh, I don't know how to say it any other way than how I'm going to say it. It kind of reminded me of going to an Oriental doctor's office, like in the
Yes.
Orient. Okay,
Okay.
you go.
Don't know what that means.
Okay, well, think of some of the movies you've seen that are shot in Hong Kong or stuff like that, like the remake of Karate Kid
Uh-huh.
with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan.
I saw that in the same way that I was present in the room when the movie was playing.
Okay, so a lot of this, sometimes I watch movies just for the architecture and the sets, which makes me kind of a movie snob, I guess. Just in the way that if you have a drink by yourself, you're an alcoholic.
Is there any other way to drink?
No, I don't think so. With your pals Blackie and Red, no doubt.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, the building is kind of dated but maintained.
Okay.
And then you would be expecting, maybe a 50s or some sort of, corresponding interior. But the interior,
it's all brand new.
It's modern-er. It's more modern than the building, but also dated, but also very well maintained, very well laid out, very clean, right? Professional, but dated. And it's very different than the hospital where I was in getting my kidneys removed.
Right.
By Sasha and Yuri over there in the box truck.
Right. Lay down on the table. I take lungs now. Gills come
Lay on
next week.
table. That's right. Get on table. But it just struck me as going to see the Oriental doctor in the Orient. It was new in like 1990.
Old building.
Well, the building was interesting because it had like an octagon in the center. First of all, you're walking in the back
fighting
door.
pit in the center?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. You walk in the back door because the front door, which has got the nicer entryway,
It's on
just
the
opens
street.
to the street. Right. There's no street parking there anymore. So
And there's no sidewalk either because we hate sidewalks.
It's marginal. If I was to drive my wheelchair down that sidewalk, first of all, I had to really slow it down to make sure I stayed on course and not veer off. And if I did veer off, I had my hand to be slapping car mirrors as they went by at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, because
right.
people don't slow down for that.
No, they speed up. I think they speed up and aim.
Yeah.
Because something about points or I don't. That's a whole different. movie.
Something. Our walking infrastructure is not great in America.
Yeah. So, you're going in the back door. So you're going by some of the other offices.
Deliveries
and
in
other stuff.
rear.
And you're going. Yeah, that's what it said. The maternity ward. Okay. And you're going towards the octagon in the center. Yes, it's a real octagon. It's an octagonal reception desk area, and there's a nice wide hallway all the way around it, right? So you go up and you can talk. You can choose a side of the octagon.
And you can talk?
And talk to a receptionist.
Ah.
Yeah.
You can choose your opponent.
Apparently, but everyone's super friendly. So apparently it wasn't Fright Night or Fight Night or whatever.
Or Fright Night. I mean, either or really. We're getting close to the spooky season.
So that was really nice, and everyone's really friendly. And the male, I thought it was the doctor, but there was a male nurse there. He was really helpful and took us right. There was no waiting. It took us, got my mom's information, took us right back to the exam room, and then.
It sounds like you need this doctor.
I do. It's my wife goes to him too. And then the doctor comes in and he's Oriental. It's perfect. And he's a really nice guy.
So what is an Oriental doctor's office?
It is. Yes. It's like, That's perfect. I do kind of like the Oriental doctors because he just looks at her, because like she'd had some stuff done, taken off, and they thought it was cancer and whatnot. And he's looking at it, and it's not cancerous or anything like that. And everything's healing up, and so he's like, "I'm not ordering anything. We're just going to let nature heal itself." I'm like, I like that. I think if you went to a more westernized younger doctor, they go, "Hey, I'm going to prescribe this cream for you, and then we're going to do this. I'm going to." Oh, why? It's healing up nice. I know it was a big cut, but it's healing nicely. Leave it alone, right?
Right. Like the mechanics with my trailer. You took a working trailer, made it a non-working trailer. It was working. Why didn't you just leave it alone?
So it's great. It was my idea. I've relayed all these horror doctor visits, but this was the doctor visit I prefer because he looks at it and goes, "Yeah, everything was negative. Now you're healing up. I'm not going to ask you to do anything else. Don't have to come back if it keeps healing. Have a nice day." It's like, oh, yeah. When the doctor visit is shorter than the nonsense you had to go to get there, I'm all about
something.
it.
That's
I'm all
something
about that.
For sure.
Yeah. So mom's one of the things that she enjoys is the fillet of fish from McDonald's, right? So she's kind of soft spoken, but can we stop at McDonald's? Which from anybody else, it's like
a suggestion. Like, oh, yeah, hey, it'd be really nice to stop at McDonald's. That is Grandma telling you, I want to stop at McDonald's. We're stopping at McDonald's.
And you better do it, mister. Yeah, exactly right. Right. And we did, not only did we do that, but we used the Maestro strategy, which I'm about to dive into. So on the way back.
You ordered through the app?
No.
Or you pulled the ripcord?
Neither. Hang on. You're getting ahead of me.
Well, you're taking too long.
No, this is how I am. This is me.
Well, stop it.
The listeners love it.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. They love it.
We'll have to put a survey up someday. Like, okay, which one of us?
We'll put a survey on this episode. How about that? It'll be right there down below the comments.
Yeah, we'll get card and letter.
And carrier pigeon. We still accept carrier pigeon.
Always accept carrier pigeon.
So I do the whole thing, order at the speaker, pull around. Very efficiently done. I got to give them credit, right? They did the thing. And it was all like right up to the window. But then I knew I was in for it because she says, it's like pull over to space, pick up space number 1, drive through space number 1, and we'll bring the coffee out to you, the decaf. I'm making it fresh. Like, oh, doomed. It's not gonna go well. And what I should have said, I should have told her, wait a minute, have you thrown out the old stuff yet? Because I would prefer the stuff that's been burned in the carafe for the last 3 hours and it's been evaporated down to a fine sludge over what you're about to make.
Yeah, the coffee's great. Want a slice?
Yeah, that's what I want. I would rather have that because it's like a decaf French roast, a poor man's decaf French roast. It's a little burned. It's a little dark.
It's on the roast.
It's okay. Well, it's a twice roasted, right? Because they roasted the beans and then now you've roasted the water. Okay.
Right, now you're roasting the water.
But then I thought, you know what? Give it a chance. Maestro says they use the new machines and whatnot. Give it a chance. So I wait there. And while we're waiting there, I also realized I hadn't ordered a doggy burger. I don't know why I keep spacing that out. See, if the doggie's there, she's there to remind me. She's there to remind me.
Yeah, but the grandma likes the dog.
Right. Well, she's afraid that no, that's a whole other thing.
Leaving the dog
in the truck, going into the medical visit. Don't know how long you're going to be in there. It's hot outside. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got that. Yeah, that part.
Yeah. So we don't want to cook doggy.
No, we don't want to cook doggy.
Right.
We don't want a hot dog.
Then I said, well, I'll just use a Maestro strategy. So I just asked Mom, so you don't mind if we go right next door to Arby's and I can get a roast beef and we'll get Jersey, the doggy, a doggy slider.
Oh yeah, the sliders. Yeah.
So that's what we did.
The fat guy knows exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about fast food.
Oh yeah. But I am sitting there looking at the McDonald's menu as I'm parked, and I'm realizing, I don't know how many of the listeners have looked at I wasn't big initially on the Obamacare thing where they had to put calories on the menu, right? Remember that?
Oh yeah, you don't want to know.
Big old brew. No, you don't want to know because I'm looking at like the bloomin' onion at Outback is like 2,000 or something. It's crazy. Or is it 3,000?
An entire meal.
It's huge. Yeah, it's your whole daily allotment of calories and then some, just for a bloomin' onion. And that's an appetizer, mate. So I guess if you're fighting crocs all day, you can eat like that. But
yeah, well, you got to. You got to.
So
you
look
got
at like
calories
a
in the
McDonald's.
crocodile.
I'm looking at the McDonald's menu, like a Frappuccino, right? One of those Frappuccino things that's supposed to be like a little.
That's just mostly sugar.
Coffee treat, right? It's 400 calories, and that's just the low octane version.
Part of that.
Yeah, that's a low octane version is 400 calories. I'm looking at the salad. If you get the dressing for the salad is 240 calories. Just the dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the salads are worse than some of the burgers,
Yeah. Yeah, you're better off with a burger in some cases than the salad. Especially if you're going to use the dressing and all the little bags of crispy toppings you're going to put on the salad. You might as well just have ice cream. Nope, and that's not a license for me to go out and get ice cream either. Ice cream and salad, same thing. I didn't say that. Well, I kind of did, but
I have my Diet Coke so I can have regular cake.
If the listeners are going to use what I say as an excuse to go get ice cream, you know what? Go have some ice cream.
Just get the ice cream.
Just get it over with. Yeah. Then you're not eating a gallon of it later. You can just have a serving now. I'm waiting. I'm watching the menu and I'm just blown away by the calorie counts on the menu. It's because I haven't been to a McDonald's in a while, so I have forgotten what the calories are. But I get the coffee. The coffee's screaming hot, so I can't try it. But we got everything. So I'm going over to employ the Maestro strategy just next door to Arby's, and then by the time I do that.
Why is that the Maestro strategy?
Yeah, well, get what you want. Go to 3 different places if that's what you want.
Oh, yeah.
Get what you want.
Yeah. Get what you want.
Just get what you want. You want
so
something from over
it's
here?
Hard to remember which. It's hard to remember which one's which.
Maybe you should number them so people can keep track.
Well, that's strategy number 12 then.
Just a thought. Okay, so it's finally cooled down enough. I get to taste it. Now, here's what I get. I've described it before, but I'm going to describe what this
mop
fresh.
Water.
No. Okay, so first of all, take your coffee machine, your brand new one, disassemble all the pieces, and put it in a pot. Cover that pot with water. Bring that water to a rolling boil until all the parts are clean. Put the machine back together. Okay? Nice, clean machine, ready to go. And then take the water that's in the pot, and put it in a cup and give it to the customer because that's what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's awful.
It tastes like they clean the machine in the water and then serve the water.
Yeah, it's all the cleaning chemicals getting stuck to the inside of the coffee machine because they're using the same.
It wasn't even the chemicals. It was just a hint of coffee, and I was risky, and I had them put a little sweetener and a little cream in it, and that diluted any coffee flavor that was left. So it just tastes like the soaking water, because that's what you do. You don't use any chemicals. At least I don't. I just put hot water and put all the machine parts in there, boil it.
But you're not
Together.
McDonald's.
Well, I've worked in the fast food and restaurant industry. So
right, but you're not McDonald's.
Anyhow, what I'm saying is that it just tasted like they took the coffee parts, boiled them, put them back in the machine, and then served the water that they boiled the parts in. That's what it tasted like. Oh, it was awful.
Who's to say they didn't?
Maybe they did, but whatever it is, they haven't fixed it in these years. I know it's only been a couple of months for the listeners, but in the years that I've been trying to get a decent cup of coffee since they switched to this McCafe stuff.
That's supposed to be better than the old stuff. That's the crazy part.
Well, they just, as we illustrated in the first podcast, that if they double up on the amount of coffee they put in the machine when they brew it, it comes out beautiful. It's great. But if they use the one packet, it's great. It really tastes good. And if you go and get the McCafe stuff at your favorite grocer that they sell in the bag, and you make it from that and using normal portions of coffee, it tastes good too. But when they portion it out at the McDonald's, they portion it out cheap. And so it'll be fine. It's a way we can cut down on costs. And they cheap out on the
And
amount
flavor.
of grounds they're putting in and flavor. Well, yeah, they just cheap
You
out
cut down
on
on costs and flavor.
well, and customers, and that kind of thing to me.
They don't care
it's
about
a downward.
customers. Look at their prices.
Well, it's a downward spiral because you cut quality, right? Less
Yeah.
people buy it. So then you like, oh, we're not making money like we thought. So they're going to cut quality again. So even less people buy it. So then they cut quality again. Fewer people buy it. And then they cut it and then they finally just take it off the menu. Oh, no one's buying this. Yeah, it's junk.
Unless you're Taco Bell, and then you cut it from the menu because people ordered it.
Well, there's that. That's a whole different strategy. You marketing people need to be reined in. That's all I know. The bean counters need to be reined in.
Listen, Taco Bell used to have this flatbread steak cheese thing. I don't even remember what it was called because it was so long ago. It was a flatbread with steak and cheese and other stuff in it, and it was delicious. And I thought it was going to be a normal menu item, and it was called like the double XL steak flatbread. Real original name.
Yeah, right.
It was excellent. It was high in
Yes.
protein.
Yes.
And it turned out it was just a limited time thing. But they were always sold out of it because it was so popular. I was
Right.
like, why don't they
Many
just
a
make
late
that
night
part of the
consuming those.
menu? Yes.
You know, it's just then this is a problem that I think corporate America, corporate anything suffers, and that is the people making the decisions are so far divorced from what goes on at the street level, at the consumer level, that they have no clue.
Oh yeah.
And so they make decisions based on a spreadsheet. I drank it. I paid $2 or whatever for it. I'm going to drink it, doggone it. But that's it. I'm
paid
done.
for it. I'm going to eat it.
I Snake, I tried it. I'm gonna eat it.
Right.
But I'm done. I'm no longer going to ask because I got a much better cup of coffee from the coffee robot at the hospital that was spraying coffee. Remember that?
Yeah. The insane coffee robot. Yeah.
Right.
How could I
Right.
forget?
So I'll deal with that. But I'm done. My faith in going through the drive-up window, especially McDonald's, and getting a decent cup of decaf is forever shaken, and they'll never have me back. So there.
Something happened.
So that's the update on the coffee and on the whatever. So
On the disappointment.
you have a rant, my friend? I think you do.
I do. I have a pigeon rant. It's a small rant, but
Uh-huh.
pigeons were bred to be humans' friends. They were friendly birds. We raised them that way. That's like the carrier pigeon and all that. And actually, back in the day, they used to be pets.
Yeah.
They were pet birds.
Mhm.
Right. That's why they're so friendly around humans. It was bred
Right.
into them, and then we just turned on them. Oh, they're
Well,
dirty.
They
were also used to
They
great effect.
multiplied excessively and started pooping on every statue. So there's that.
Well, that's because people instead of taking care of their pets, they just let them go.
Yeah.
I mean, we experience that when we live out in the country. It's just people would just drive out there and just dump their pet on the side of the road. Like, it's your problem
so
now.
sad. It's so sad.
Right. So I mentioned you do that with a bird.
Yeah.
It's just gonna fly around.
And apparently they're very
used
hardy.
great. They were used. Yeah, they're very hardy. They were used to great success in World War I for message delivery.
Oh yeah. Which is why we still accept
Like,
carrier pigeon over here at Drake and the Maestro.
Right. Here at
Mhm.
Drake and the Maestro, I'm a strong supporter of pigeons, and I have reversed my earlier decisions as a kid of disliking pigeons to now I like pigeons, and I think everyone should like pigeons.
Sponsored by 1-800-SLOW-ME.
Yeah, sure. Why not? But I think the pigeons need to get more respect. There's not enough respect put on pigeons' names.
Okay, I'm waiting for the rant. I'm sorry. I'm just
That's the rant. That's the rant.
Oh, what a letdown!
It wasn't really a rant. It was more of a conceptual idea.
So when you think
I see I
Maestro,
got too
think
excited.
the noble pigeon. That's
Yes,
gonna be
the
your
noble
new
pigeon.
that's gonna be your new nickname. The noble pigeon.
The noble pigeon.
Yes.
It's my flight. It's my flight handle. The noble pigeon.
It's kind of a funny episode since we're welcoming the new military guys on board.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
my
of which-
what do they call it? Call sign? Noble pigeon.
Mobile pigeon. Noble pigeon.
You don't get to pick your call sign. Noble pigeon.
No.
That's my call
noble
sign.
pigeon. That is it.
I'll
Negative
take it.
Ghost Rider to the pattern is full.
Negative
So
noble
our-
pigeon.
Maybe it's time to auger this thing in. Let's get a word in from our sponsor, 1-800-SLOPE-ME.
Still doing this slope me bit.
Are you afraid of a 3-letter agency invading your cartilage? Or would you just like some peace of mind at night? Well, get sloped at 1-800-SLOPE-ME. Our slopes are ADA approved for access to your domicile while still keeping those pesky agencies guessing. Act now and we'll throw in a free Tannerite stuffed dog. So get sloped at 1-800-SLOPE-ME and we'll get you sloped in no time. And don't forget to ask about our limited time slippery slope offer. That's right, turn your slope into a slippery slope with our new motion sensitive mister system. Guaranteed to keep those pesky agencies at bay. That's 1-800-SLOPE-ME.
The slippery slope option. I love that. I love the slippery slope.
Oh yeah, I have the slippery slope. Gotta have the slippery slope.
Because, you hear it in the news, be careful, that's a slippery slope. Well, now you can own a slippery slope.
Now you too can have a slippery slope.
That's right. We'll just call 1-800-SLOPE-ME. And of course, thanks to Leo at Leo Metal Covers for
the intro.
For his contribution
Unwitting
to the intro.
support.
Yeah, that's right. And thanks to the listeners, and especially thanks for you military guys who are tuning in. I'm honored, and so is the maestro. And
of course.
Until next time, adios.
Adios.
Arrivederci. Hasta la vista.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros. Will you get out of here?